From the front line of hunger, helping young people, and providing homes to the homeless, meet the leaders planting the seeds of hope for Michigan families and communities. Art Van Furniture is proud to present the 2013 Art Van Award of Hope. There are nearly 50,000 charities in the state of Michigan. Some are as basic as providing food and shelter. Others are groundbreaking, touching lives around the world, to as wonderful as sending a sick child to summer camp. Whatever their mission, all these charities share a common goal: changing lives. Hello, I'm Diana Lewis, and I'm honored to host the 2013 Art Van Award of Hope Special, where we are shining the spotlight on 5 individuals in Michigan who have made significant contributions to their communities. It's all part of the Art Van $1 Million Charity Challenge. Take a look.
5 years, 150 charities, $5 million donated, $17 million raised and counting. The Art Van $1 Million Charity Challenge has taken on a life of its own, with fundraisers, awards, contests, and charity bears. Since 2009, the Art Van $1 Million Charity Challenge has been supporting charities big and small, from a $1 million grant to Forgotten Harvest to providing wigs to children with cancer.
I love that I can put it like I can do this again.
During the company's 50th anniversary, Art Van distributed grants of $5,000 to $50,000 to 50 different organizations statewide, which focused on children, health, and human services. During the height of the recession, many nonprofits were struggling with donations. The grants inspired others to give. In year 1, that $1 million donation turned into $3 million. Now, 5 years later, Art Van has partnered with 150 different charities, ranging from Paws with a Cause, Benjamin's Hope, and Seating's Braille Books for Children to Focus Hope, helping put inner city Detroiters back to work. Plus, Art Van's $5 million donation has inspired others to give to the tune of $17 million and counting. Some would say that's a pretty good return on investment, but if you're talking ROR, return on relationships, well, that's priceless. The Art Van $1 Million Charity Challenge has always been more than writing checks. The company wanted a partnership. For the past several years, the furniture retailer has been holding numerous fundraisers and friend-raisers at its stores throughout the state. Recently, a Cruise with a Cause for McLaren Hospital's Hospitality House. Art Van Furniture encourages its employees to give back as well. Associates have been given 2 hours of paid time to volunteer at their favorite charity. From the advertising and public relations department packing food for gleaners, to the store environment team helping fan families against narcotics, to our Battle Creek associates collecting clothes for Charitable Union. They've supported the Art Van charities in a big way. In 2013, Art Van Furniture is putting a special focus on veterans, from hiring vets to supporting the Operation Finally Home initiative by doing what Art Van does best, furnishing 5 homes with a household of furniture.
Get started with their life finally.
As part of the Art Van $1 Million Charity Challenge, Art Van is honoring 5 nonprofit leaders who, in their own way, are change agents. It's hard to believe in this day and age that 1 in 4 children go to bed hungry at night, and families across the state don't have the food they need to survive. It's clear there's enough food, but the struggle is getting it to those who need it. That's the mission of Forgotten Harvest, the largest food recovering program in America, maybe in the world, and they are right here in Michigan. Leading their mission is our first honoree, Susan Goodell.
For many of us who have not experienced hunger, it's unimaginable, but it's real. I see the people who walk a mile, 2 miles, just to go and stand in the line with hundreds of people they don't know. It doesn't matter if it's well below freezing, it's pouring down rain.
Makes me really sad to think that there are all those people out there still hungry.
As a society, we know that we throw away 1/4 of all the food that we produce. So on the one hand, we have 1 in 4 children hungry, and on the other, we have 25% of the food feeding the landfill. There's just something terribly wrong with that picture.
Forgotten Harvest is the largest fresh food rescue operation in the country, maybe even the world.
We make sure that people are fed, and at the same time, we make sure that good food doesn't go to waste. So we have this incredible fleet of trucks that are on the road constantly picking up good food like fresh meat and vegetables, baked goods, you name it, great food that otherwise would be discarded, and instead make sure our neighbors in need have good food on their tables.
We pick up food that would ordinarily be thrown out, and we deliver it to soup kitchens and shelters all over 3 counties, Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb County.
I think it's amazing that something that could mean so little one moment, that it could be totally thrown away, put in trash cans and dumpsters and landfills. Instead, this beautiful food can feed our neighbors who otherwise can't adequately feed themselves and their children.
You know, people often ask me, why do we do this work? And I have a simple answer. We do this work because we can. All through the years, there have been people who have just shown up when we needed them. And when Susan came aboard, she was exactly the person we needed to catapult this organization to a different stratosphere. She's amazing, absolutely amazing. I don't know what we do without her.
I think one of the things that makes Forgotten Harvest such a special place is that everyone can play a role. Everyone can be part of the solution and ensure that our neighbors are not hungry. Whether it's donating the beautiful food, whether it's coming and volunteering at any age, coming and being a part, making that financial donation, everyone can play a role to make our community a better place. And Forgotten Harvest is the catalyst where it happens.
Forgotten Harvest doesn't just serve Metro Detroit. Shortly after the devastating tornado in Moore, Oklahoma, Forgotten Harvest organized a caravan of relief to the region. As the 2013 Art Van Award of Hope continues, a woman who lived on the streets now has a place to call home. The groundbreaking effort to give homeless a roof and the difference one person can make in the life of a child. Welcome back. We've all been touched by someone who cared, a friend who provided guidance and support when we needed it the most and asked nothing in return. For nearly 50 years, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northwestern Michigan has been helping children reach their potential. But it takes that special touch to match the right big brother or big sister with a little. Think of Cecilia Chesney as a matchmaker. Her passion and compassion makes her an Art Van Award of Hope honoree.
When you have a child that's out of control, you wonder what you're doing wrong, how you can fix it.
I started getting in trouble when I was really young for, I guess, like partying. And then it kind of progressed and got worse and then more. And then the more you do, the worse the consequences are.
Josh's mom was beside herself. She didn't know what to do. Josh was 12 when we matched him, which is very late, because you want to make a big difference, and the earlier you can get them, you think you can.
You know, he had his hat on crooked, and I thought, this may be a challenge, you know, but he's a good kid. I mean, couldn't help but like him.
I liked him from the start, and I could tell he liked me. And he didn't judge me. Like a lot of adults look at me as just like a troublemaker, I guess. Didn't think I was going to do much.
We had a guy who's a retired executive from Dow Chemical living up on Torch Lake who had the demeanor, had the patience, and the life experiences to allow him to share things with Josh and really be that sounding board and help encourage him.
And he started asking me questions on the way in, and I thought, I think we're getting someplace now. And it's just gone from there. Now we used to listen to the radio, now we turn it off and talk the whole time.
When Josh first started the program, I felt hope. And I hadn't felt that for him in a long time.
I was in for a while, and I mean, Nick was writing me all the time and stuff when I went away, and that helped. Like opening a letter was awesome, and just reading it and writing back. He helped a lot as much as he could, and he came in there and visited me when he could.
Here's a kid that was in his young teens incarcerated. He didn't have a dad, he didn't have anybody to look up to, and his mentor, would write him letters, and those letters were so important to him to get. And it just meant that he knew somebody was out there rooting for him, and that makes all the difference in the world. You want to do well if somebody believes in you.
I went and saw him when he was in trouble, and I think he began to trust me a lot because I wasn't on his case. I was on his case, but yet I wasn't judging him.
Nick went to every court date, everything that he had to do at the courts, Nick was there. And he didn't judge, he just would support.
The most important thing about being a mentor to me is it's not a spectator sport. You've got to get involved. And if you get involved, you're going to get paid back many, many times over.
It went from hope to pride. And he's made so many accomplishments in the last couple of years. And I'm extremely proud of him. And I know that he has a future now. And a few years ago, I really didn't think he did.
I want to thank him for everything. I put him through a lot of stuff, and him and my mom, I put him through a lot of stress. And I don't know, they just have always stood behind me, even when I messed up.
My son has a future. The only thing I could say is thank you, and it's not enough.
Big Brothers Big Sisters makes such a difference in kids' lives, and it really is the difference between a kid going on and making it and not.
Josh is off to a great new start. He has begun his culinary career, now studying under one of the best chefs in northern Michigan. You might recall, it was just a few short years ago when millions of Americans lost their jobs and their homes in one of the country's worst economic times. Chances are you knew someone who lost their home. But what about the chronically homeless? Where do they go? In a groundbreaking effort, Sheila Clay of the Neighborhood Service Organization took an abandoned building in Detroit and put it to good use. It's why Sheila Clay deserves the Art Van Award of Hope.
I took care of people all my life, and when I became homeless, the first thing that came to my mind was who's going to take care of me.
Homelessness is a situation that any one of us could find ourselves in. It doesn't have any recognition of name, position in life, it's circumstances. And so what I ask is for people to never judge or think you know why until you hear the stories.
I was a caregiver pretty much all my life, and I took a fall. Almost got killed on the job. That's when I became homeless. I tried to stay with friends and family, and it didn't work. So I ended up going to a shelter.
My name is Sheila Clay, and I'm the president and CEO of Neighborhood Service Organization, commonly known as NSO. NSO has been around since 1955, and we have always taken care of populations that many times were not the popular populations. We took care of older adults who had a mental illness, children with special needs, with developmental disabilities. So NSO is really the safety net for a lot of services.
That was a very exciting day for me when I walked into the NSO building. It just made me feel like I had somewhere to call home after being homeless for 2 years. So I was very grateful for the NSO. We have 155 residents, and now I'm a resident at the Bell Building, and I really, really enjoy being here. I'm a volunteer for the tours when they want to take a tour through the building.
Okay, this is our mail room, and this was a very important room for a lot of us. We were homeless, we didn't have any place to have our mail to come. Now, 155 of us have a mailbox today. Here it is. Welcome to my home.
Wow, what do you think it is?
This is my home. This is my home. I cried when they opened up this door and say, Catherine, this is your place. This is your new home now. The biggest tears just fell down my face. I was so happy. From being homeless, from nothing to having something. So welcome to my home.
When one of the people that we serve tells a story, I'm getting ready to choke up now. People who moved into this building, who were under a freeway viaduct the day before they moved in here. And I was standing with them when they opened the door to their apartment and stood there and couldn't believe that we were giving that to them. They didn't do anything to earn, we just gave that to them because we wanted to end their homelessness, and to see their tears, and now to see some of them working, going to college, working on a GED because they now live here, that's what makes me cry.
That's what we call a win-win. NSO not only provided housing, but preserved an historic building in the city of Detroit. Still ahead, find out what Paul Newman, summer camp, and Michigan all have in common. There's nothing like a childhood memory of going to summer camp, where you get to swim, ride a horse, bunk in a cabin. But what happens when you're too sick to have that experience? The late actor Paul Newman championed the idea of finding a way to send children with challenging medical issues to camp. But there wasn't one here in Michigan. Sherry Mark of North Star Reach hopes to change that.
The Tories were sleeping, all the other doors were closed. My name's Faith and I'm turning 7 really soon. I'm 6 right now, so technically it's kind of confusing. I get sick a lot. My belly hurts.
Faith has a very rare disease of her intestines. Her nerves did not form normally when she was born. She doesn't absorb fluid normally. She can't go to the bathroom normally. And she has a hard time staying healthy. Faith has had more surgeries than I can count. We removed her colon. She has a colostomy bag. Faith's disease causes her to need some type of medical intervention every 3 hours.
Having a disease isn't that fun because you gotta be like in the hospital and out of the hospital. I only gotta go 5 days to school last year. Sometimes I feel really sad about being sick because I just want to be a normal kid.
This is our everyday life, and we stay really positive because that's the only way we can make it through. However, there are times when she just breaks down and she just wants to be like the other kids. When I think about Faith's future, I worry about her not having the confidence she needs to get through really rough teenage years with a colostomy bag and a feeding tube. And what I think camp would do is give her confidence, and I think it would make her realize that she can do anything any other child can do.
My name is Sherry Mark, and I'm board chair of North Star Reach, and we are building a camp for children with serious health challenges, and all of the kids will go for free. It's necessary because there is nothing like it in the region. Camp is amazing. When you send a child who's only ever known an illness, maybe they have cancer, maybe they're dying, maybe they have had a heart transplant, maybe they are on a ventilator, maybe they have sickle cell or HIV, and all they've ever known is hospitals and doctors. And when we give them a week at camp, it transforms them, it changes their life. Camp is the best medicine. You know, you get a kid who's never been out of a hospital setting and you put him in a setting where someone's saying, oh yeah, you can do that, instead of no, you can't do that. And these kids go on, they go to college, they have productive lives, we train them to be leaders as they get too old to be campers, and it's just the best thing I've ever done. It's amazing. It's one thing for me to tell people about camp, but when these kids talk about camp and what it means for them,
it would mean to me a lot because being with kids like me would be like a dream come true.
North Star Reach Camp in Pinckney hopes to welcome campers by 2015. When the 2013 Award of Hope returns, the story of a West Michigan couple who brought a whole new kind of learning to the United States. There's a line in a country song that goes, "The good Lord gave us mountains so we could learn how to climb." This next honor is bittersweet. That's because this past year, we lost half of this dynamic duo. As parents, Susie and Chuck Sauer were given an uphill battle. They not only climbed their mountain, they helped others along the way.
My name is Chuck Sauer, and together with my wife Susie, we were the founders, I guess, of Conductive Learning Center here in Grand Rapids about 17 years ago. Susie and I had our son Dan in 1987, and he was born early in an emergency C-section, and very early on we knew there were some problems, and he had a severe form of cerebral palsy. We knew that Dan had to learn how to learn. My wife and my two boys and I went over to Hungary back in 1997, and we experienced conductive education. We brought this home to our hometown in Grand Rapids.
Children are in the center from 9 to 2 every day, working on physical skills, working on life skills. They're working on their social skills and communication skills. Where else can a child get this kind of intensive practice with skilled conductor teachers that are specially trained to work with children with motor disabilities in a group, fun, playful setting? You're going to see kids that are having fun. You're going to hear the teachers and the kids singing. The rhythm cues the kids and relaxes them as they go through their movements.
They see their friends working hard and it makes them work harder, and they also can form relationships with each other.
Now I can move my toes, walk, jump. If I have my canes, I can run. A lot of stuff that when I was little, if I could kind of remember then, I would probably think I couldn't even do all this stuff that I can do now.
For a parent, to see your child achieve things that maybe you were told your child would never achieve, it's a tremendous increase in quality of life for the child and for the family. It's really life-changing.
When I walk through the doors here at the center, I still look for and I listen for Susie's laugh. And it's tough for me when I come in here and I don't see that. Susie, who I'm sorry has passed away last year. She's the one who could bring a smile on every kid's face. She had a way to get everybody going. The number of students that this has touched, I'm told, is pretty much every county in Michigan. Many countries around, at least North America, Canada, Mexico, Central and South America, have come to Grand Rapids. And to me, that's just an awesome thing.
Oh, he warms my heart. How inspiring. I'm Diana Lewis. We hope you have a new appreciation for all those who give their time and talent planting the seeds of hope in our great state of Michigan.